What's going on, everybody? It's your host, Dr. Splash. And I get a lot of comments before, no doubt during. Oh, are you attacking this YouTuber? Oh, are you attacking that YouTuber? I'm going to answer this quite simply. I'm not here to attack or destroy any man or creator. I'm here to kill an idea, okay? And this idea has been floating around in the comic book community, regardless of who pushed it, that Nightwing just vastly outscales Batman's above Batman. We will be reviewing all of the material relevant to this case in DC Comics, and if you guys like this style of debunk, I will, moving forward, do this particular style when it comes to attacking ideas or metas in the community or battles. So with that being said, like and subscribe if you have not already. 400 plus likes would be absolutely amazing. I have compiled every single feat and statement ever for Batman and Nightwing. If you want access to those servers that has every single comic relevant, make sure to hit me up to talk business. That out of the way, let's begin. Now, first, I think it's important to talk about some of the characters that both Batman and Nightwing have interacted with and battled over the course of history. And by the way, during this entire account, I will be listing the comics relevant to what I am referring to. And in the video comments, I will pin every single comic reference in this video so that you guys can look up the research yourself. I think it's very important that you guys research yourself and draw your own conclusions. Don't take YouTubers' words as law. Now, first is Batman and Bane by Chuck Dixon. In this book, Bane absolutely beats the shit out of Nightwing twice, but in the same book, Batman applies absolute pressure. So obviously with that shared variable, it's quite obvious who is the superior in that case. Next, let's move on to a situation involving Azrael. For these relevant comics, it's Batman Volume 1, 510, and Detective Comics Volume 1, 677. Now, Batman fights Azrael and does far better than Nightwing, who was in fear of losing his actual life during this fight. This is the same Azrael, by the way, that broke Bane, and Batman was doing just fine, even though Azrael said Batman was not even at full strength at this time. Clear difference in gap right there, demonstrated with Azrael. Next up, let's observe Cheshire, right? The relevant comics for this situation is Action Comics Volume 1, 617, and Batman Secret Files Issue 3. Cheshire has a history of giving Nightwing and his whole team fits in head-on fights, but she really can't fuck with Batman one-on-one. Keep in mind, similar to the situations prior, Nightwing outright thinks he could die at any moment against Cheshire. Batman's putting in work, levels. Next, that's relevant, is a fight that involves Batman and Nightwing. This is Batman Volume 1, 600. Batman dogs Nightwing and embarrasses him in front of the Bat family. Keep in mind, for context, they think Batman's lost it. They think Batman's broken his code that he has come to value over the years. And by the way, before people comment on this and think I have a low opinion of Nightwing, I have Nightwing as my second Robin right now. And when I say second Robin, I'm sorry, second to Batman. He's right up there. Plenty of evidence that he's the GOAT among the Robins as a combatant. So I'm not shitting on Nightwing, I'm just talking about their history, right? Well, they think Batman's a killer here, and so Nightwing's fucking pissed. He's like, I'm putting you down, Bruce. We're bringing you in. He literally can't touch him. The Robins are like, yo, he can't even touch Batman right now. And Batman was dogging him. And then after, when Batman leaves, because Nightwing can't stop him at all, can't do anything to him, the other Robins are like, yo, I'm going to be honest, I thought if you and him ever fought, he would just beat the shit out of you. He would absolutely embarrass you. Nightwing looked at him and said, he did. He straight up did. And that's because he couldn't touch him. He just couldn't. I mean, that's pretty apparent right there. Next, let's look at Nightwing issue 30. This fight is brought up a lot between them, but I think it's important to actually read the story, and this is one of the reasons I tell you guys to go read the comics I'm providing. Batman lets Nightwing win, was winning the fight the entire time, but he had to get Nightwing back in his mode. Nightwing had been compromised. He had been captured, tortured, beat up. Mentally, he was compromised. And Batman said, I need to get him back to being an absolute dog, or I can't trust him. And he led and just kept pissing off Nightwing until he finally got him to fight to remain alive. And after the fight, Batman literally goes to Alfred. He's like, "Yo, Alfred, I'm fine. I fixed him though. I had to fix his mentality." Batman could have finished that fight whenever he wanted. He obviously had the advantage the entire time, and he was trying to build up Nightwing's mentality again. So that's a fight that has a very important context to it. Next, let's look at Batman Volume 3, Issue 138. Batman had literally given Nightwing the very means to stop him. Literally the Bat Box, which contains everything that Bruce has. You can cut him off to everything. Takes away all assets, all power, everything. He has all of that, and Nightwing still needed outside help and failed to stop Batman anyways. Literally had all the prep and means to completely incapacitate Batman while having help from the other Robins, and still couldn't get it done. Like, come on. That's hard to misconstrue at that point. Let's move on to the next case. Batman vs. Robin, Issue 3. Nightwing and the Bat family try to jump Batman, and they had prep from Damian, and Nightwing had the strongest weapon out of the entire family. They all lost. Let me give further context, because there's no way you can say Nightwing's above Batman after this. All of them are under control, and all of them are being game planned by Damian, right? So they all have their full function, full capacity. They're also amped. There's the Trident of Poseidon. There's the fucking Sword of Sin, right? Which Nightwing has the whole time. Nightwing is the last fight Batman encounters. He runs the gauntlet of the other amped Robins before that. He gets a busted shoulder, a broken rib, a concussion, and he's suffering from blood loss, right? All of these things. Not only that, the Sword of Sin has been attacking his mind and his soul this entire time he's on the island. Damian's best strategy, the best way for them to possibly win, was if Nightwing goes last with the strongest weapon out of all the weapons provided that's been draining Batman this entire time. He did not believe Nightwing could win in round 1. He did not believe that was nearly the best choice. He thought Nightwing would have to drain him for a long time and fight an injured, hurt, and tired Batman while amped in order to put down this pissed off Batman. He wasn't able to do it. Batman knocks his ass out. Incredible. It's really hard to understand this stance for me, to be honest with you. Like, I don't know why the community struggles with this. This should be clear as day if you're reading the comics. Let's move on. Batman Volume 3, Issue 16. Nightwing, let's call it straight what it is out here getting hung by Bane off panel when Bane needs months of prep to ever encounter Batman and has a losing record against Azrael, who we reviewed how Batman does against him. It's just these other villains. And that time he slapped around Nightwing twice. He literally said, "You're insignificant compared to the Batman. I'm here to fight Batman. You're not him. You're a pretty good accomplice, but not him." And it's just always shown and pretty much demonstrated when they encounter each other. And I think we can't emphasize that enough, honestly. Batman, Volume 1, Issue 637. Batman moves faster than Nightwing can even think and process this battle. He had planned the end of this fight and every meticulous step up to it before Nightwing could even fathom how much danger they were in. That's how incredible of a gap there is between them in battle IQ and battle processing. Batman's fucking 10 steps ahead before Nightwing realizes, oh shit, we might die in this encounter. That's crazy. Like, it's crazy to say Nightwing just blatantly outscales. Let's move on to another important aspect to this, which is Deathstroke. You know, the infamous, what's Deathstroke scale to? Who's he scale to? How does this go? I'm going to go ahead and list several comics, and then I'm going to get into the crux of the argument, okay? We have New Teen Titans, issue 86, Deathstroke, The Terminator, issue 14, Nightwing Volume 2, issue 80, Nightwing Volume 2, issue 81, Nightwing Volume 2, issue 82, Teen Titans Volume 3, issue 46, New Teen Titans Volume 2, issue 86, Dark Crisis 2 of 7, Dark Crisis 1, Dark Crisis The Dark Army, of course, and Titans Volume 4, issue 24. Why are these all important? Why did I list all of these? Well, in regards to the merit of the argument, every time Slade pulls up on Nightwing, it's almost always a free W for Slade. Even if Nightwing's with the crew, literally with the Titans, they don't give a fuck. He'd be beating the shit out of Nightwing. Nightwing outright doesn't scale to Deathstroke and isn't even relative when Slade's trying to get to his business, right? The only time Nightwing has outright beaten Slade was during Dark Crisis, and Slade was weakened, mind-controlled, and had a very specific task. So the idea that like consistently Nightwing's above him when he's been a punching bag historically is ridiculous. That's just not a case. I better not see that in the comics. Now let's move on to some issues regarding Deathstroke and Batman. Deathstroke issue 5. Deathstroke volume 4 issue 34. Batman volume 3 issue 86. Meanwhile, in the case of Deathstroke versus Batman and how they interact, Slade has given Batman his props and either maintained they are relative or that Batman holds back, and that's the only way Deathstroke essentially escapes these situations. Even still, some of their fights have ended in Batman winning or stalemates. While Slade does have wins on Batman, he has far more on Nightwing and has to work way harder to get them against Batman, who has beaten him more times than Nightwing has. I didn't even include right there the year 1 story where Slade's fighting Deadshot and Batman puts down both, and that's almost a rookie Batman. Like, it's a little bit of a gap there when it comes to what's the harder job for Slade. That's just the truth. Let's move on to some more interactions between Batman, Nightwing, and relevant scaling. Superman, Batman, issue 55. Titans, Beast World, issue 2. Justice League, volume 4, issue 23. Nightwing pretty much just does not scale to or above Batman. He's pretty close, and we have had statements from characters like Catwoman that's like, in physical speed, Dick's a quicker fighter in terms of just being quick. However, his cleanest victory, in my opinion, against Batman came when Batman was a mindless werewolf. He lost to Batman when Batman had Superman powers. He had World Forger. Like, this is important. This is how the unit, like, let's talk about the narrative too. We've covered a bunch of feats, covered a bunch of statements, talk about narrative too. World Forger has said, characters have said before, that most universes in DC Comics ends with a fight between Batman and Superman. So it just proves, like, when it comes to even, like, the cosmic scale and that narrative, that overhanging narrative, Batman's more important than Nightwing. He just is in the grand scheme of things. Like, that's hard to deny. Like, on a cosmic sense, he's up there, right? He's just way above in importance. And then let's look at Batman Volume 3, issue 126. Icing on the cake is Failsafe, which is a contingency plan meant to stop Batman if he ever went rogue. It's non-lethal against anyone else not Batman, and Nightwing with help literally couldn't land a meaningful shot on it. I think that's very important because Batman, while he was struggling, yes, he was quite literally more dangerous to Failsafe than a Nightwing who Failsafe is programmed to not put down, but he's programmed to put down Batman. That's fucking crazy. Let's talk about, a couple other supporting characters and incidents in DC to kind of solidify this argument. Batman Confidential issue 14. Wrath almost kills Nightwing, a common Batman rogue, right? Well, let's look at the shared history. Batman Volume 1, issue 590. Nightwing gets tagged by Oracle, who's in a fucking wheelchair. Let's look at Batman Volume 3, issue 146. Batman is stated to be the most dangerous being on the planet aside from Joker. Why are those three important? Well, kind of points back to getting tagged by someone in a wheelchair. We're not going to see that from Batman. That's just a funny jobber moment. But it kind of shows, do you think Batman's getting tagged by Oracle in that same situation narratively? Like, could we be serious? And then you look at something like he's considered the most dangerous man on the planet in compared to only Joker. Like, him and Joker, if they actually do what they wanted to do, you can't fuck with those two. Nightwing's not in that picture, right? Like, he's just not. All these three demonstrate that, even Batman's common villain, like Wrath, Nightwing nearly died. A Batman deals with a lot harder shit than I think people want to give him credit for. And he has a lot crazier scaling than people give credit for. And if you want to form your own argument, which I encourage you to do, go seek out these comics I have provided for you. I think everybody should seek to make themselves smarter on the topic, and they should seek out this information and read it themselves and draw their own conclusions. Upon reviewing thousands of comics, I've come to the conclusion that Nightwing does not scale above Batman. But I would like to hear your thoughts on what I have said in this video and the information provided. And I hope you guys learned a lot from this video and you enjoyed my coverage. But anyways, it's been your host, Dr. Splash. And remember, it's Yancey Street, bitches.